Hello. Once again, this is Doug at Wood Spun Round. You've come into my shop just as I'm getting ready to turn another challenge piece. There's another challenge on the market that I've accepted the challenge of. That is to turn a piece with the in the theme of flame or fire. I was pondering what I was going to do. And was watching another video. One of the fellows who has inspired me to do some more experimenting with color. And so I'm going to do some color on this piece. This is a piece of cedar. This was harvested in Breckenridge County, Kentucky. A tree that was down, had been down for quite a while. The bark was already falling off of it. Most all of it was gone. I peeled a little bit off a minute ago right here. Just got it on the lathe. Getting started on rounding. I rounded this limb inclusion off, and you can see right there is a little bit where I've hit it. This is going to be a really slow process, so I'm going to put the video on hold. I'll bring you back when this is round. PMs right now. Get the small parting tool just to define where my top and bottom are going to be. I think I'll go above this knot here. Alright, I decided I was not going to try to keep that knot, because if I do, I was going to need to part right through the center of it. So I went from this line here up 6.5 inches. I don't know why I chose that, just because. I've got it parted down to fairly small amount. Just using the saw so I don't tear anything. A little more control. There we go. That little biscuit will be, wow. That's what I was seeing on the outside, but there's what's on the inside. That beautiful white color intermingled amongst the red. This piece is unusual. It's got an awful lot of red in it. Usually the cedar that I run across has a lot more white in it. It's a lot of fun. Well, let's define a little shape here. Bring my tool rest back up. Back to the 1/2-inch bowl gouge. Looking at my shape here, and I don't like what I'm seeing. I think I'm too tall. Well, let's get we'll shape it inside out. We'll do it from the bottom up. Alright, I have a shape. I've not cut it off yet. I still haven't decided if I want to keep it this tall or if I want to make it a little bit shorter. Still getting a little bump as I go across here, and it's just that knot. In fact, I think I'm going to treat those cracks right now. I'll let you see those. This is well, I'll have to get some pliers to that bottle. All right, little thin CA glue, just a little bit in those cracks. You can see it wicking through those cracks pretty quickly. Something tells me those cracks go pretty deep. That's enough for now. I'm not super worried about those. I'll be taking another pass or two out here just to clean up. Let's put a little activator on that to cure it so I don't have to worry about it. I'm going to reset up. I'm going to move the camera, turn my headstock, get ready to start doing some hollowing, but I'll move the camera so that you can see better. Okay, I hope I don't get in your way too much, but the idea is here that I'm going to go in. Just as on the outside I did most of my cutting. Once I started shaping this, I went from my largest diameter to the smallest diameter. That was because the grain direction, let's see, was I doing that right? Yes, I was. I was going from larger to smaller diameter because the grain is going up and down this way, and so I was laying the fibers down and pressing against the fibers below them. Here I'm going to kind of start in the center. I'm going to go the wrong way at first just to get cleaned up because I'm just going straight across the grain. But then once I get a bit of a divot established, I'm going to be working from inside out and just kind of digging it out as I go. You'll see what I'm talking about here in just a minute. But then again, it's just to keep the grain going in the right direction so that I don't, I'm not fighting grain. Here I'm just going across the grain. Going across the grain, it really makes no difference. This is all in grain. There we go. Now I've got a nice clean cut. I'll stop it so that you can see what we've got at this point. Nice and clean. In fact, if I look there, very little open grain. I've left a little bit of open grain, but not much. What I'm going to start doing here is dig from the center out, and we'll work our way right down. No need to get in a big hurry here. Normally with a bowl, I would start out here, work my way in. You can see that works, but what it does is it causes a lot of torn grain that's tougher to get out. Tool rest has slipped just a bit, partly because of vibration. I've got pretty good distance out from the headstock here. You probably can't see in there very good. There's a little tear out. Like, again, I'm not real concerned right now. This is roughing out. I'm not taking my time really, but I'm not rushing it either. I'm only about an inch or so, inch and a quarter in. I've got a pretty good ways to go. In fact, what I'm going to do, I'm going to turn the camera off. It's just more of the same. It's going to be a while of this. So I'm going to turn the camera off, and I'll bring you back in as we're making some finishing cuts here. Okay, here's where we are. I've hollowed this piece about 3/4 of the way down. And I think I'm going to leave it like that. I used the bowl gouge for a big bunch of it, and then I used the, now let me show you, it's right here. Use the Easy Wood Tools Easy Finisher. This is the CI0. When he came out with it, we were talking about, several of us were chatting about what to call it. He ended up calling it the CI0. It is round, it's a large cutter. It's his Easy Finisher. There is a group of tools that are the Easy Hollowers. I've got one. This was one of the first ones. This is a CI3 H5. It's for the 5-inch circle, so you can go in and get up underneath the rim on a hollow form. A very good tool. I love it. I've got a prototype out in the car. In fact, I got two prototypes. One is what is now the CI3. I think it's, well, I don't know what it is. Just CI3 Pro, which is a straight bar with a small cutter. And then I've got a prototype for a very deep hollowing tool. But anyway, this is done on the inside. I will do a little more sanding on it, but I want to come back where we put that glue on it earlier. I want to come back and take a final cut there just to clean that up. It's a little rugged right now. The glue that was on the outside is kind of beaded up and has gotten hard. In fact, I hit it with my thumb a while ago and I thought, what in the world? Thought I had a problem. Really didn't. It was simply a matter of that glue. Let me take a cleaning pass and then we'll start sanding. Come back with some shear scraping. Very fine cuts. Just kind of balance out some of that. And go back over this knot where all the glue is. Lower my hand will get a finer, more of a shear cutting action. Feels pretty good. I'm ready for sanding. We're going to do a couple of things. I'm going to use my inertia sander on the outside. I don't think I can get my inertia sander on the inside. I will hand sand that as far as I can go. I'm not going to be dangerous with it. It's not worth getting my fingers wrapped up in there. But the outside will get real smooth. That's kind of where I'm at. I just want to get this smooth on the inside, kind of as far as I can reach, and that's as far as I'm concerned about. So we'll start with the inertia sander. Gotta straighten my sandpaper out a little bit. We're under way too many chips here. It's gonna take me a month of Sundays to get all this cleaned up. But you know what? It's okay. Well, I gotta grab a new piece of 320. Very good. Had one right close handy. I'm going to start off with 100 grit. We'll go 100, 150, 240, and 320. I do have the air cleaner on. I don't have the vacuum running. It's just way too loud. And I'm not going to torture you with all of this sanding. There are a few people out there that just love the sanding process. I am not one of them. I do it because I like the results. In fact, now that I'm getting started, I'm remembering now one reason I don't turn cedar all that often. Sanding is so stinking dusty. But you're seeing what I'm doing. I'm just holding this inertia sander on there. I'm on the lower quadrant. I'm not at 6 o'clock. I'm either at about 4:30 or 7:30, depending on. I can change the direction of my sanding disc just by changing from. If I'm at 7:30, I change to 4:30. If I'm at 4:30, I change to 7:30. That changes the direction of my disc. So I've got, wow, because cedar is so stinking soft, that sanded out so beautifully. There's none of that glue. Of course, I use my tool to get most of the glue off, but that is sanding up just as smooth as it can be. I'll spend about 20 minutes or so sanding, and so I'll bring you back when the sanding process is over as I get ready to start applying some finish. All right, I have sanded to 240. Didn't need to sand that far, but I did. Realized when I was in the midst of the 240 that I was painting this, and so I didn't need to go any higher. So I stopped. I've got the inside done as far as my fingers will allow. Not only the 240, but went ahead and did the 320 as well. You see sitting there on the lathe are my paints, black and red. I've got 2 containers, got 2 brushes. I've kind of blown most of the dust off. I've been running my air cleaner, and tell you the truth, those of you who watch that, I think it's done some good. I won't know until I have a chance to do a more thorough cleaning, because I know how quickly the dust accumulates. It accumulates very quickly. That's not even you can't put a timer on it. It's too fast. If I use this space, if I turn and sand, dust accumulates. It's just the way it is. This is a messy hobby. It's not a cheap hobby. It's also very messy. Heard some people say I could never do that. I can't stand the mess. I understand. The mess bothers me, but not enough to do a whole lot about it. Here I'm getting this paint ready. It's only going on the outside. First time I've used it, and so I'm having to get the seals off and all that fun stuff. Because they're wet, they're separated. There we go. Seals are off. Let's get this red a nice shake. I know I'm not getting enough paint out to do the job that I'm wanting to do. And I'm not going to put you through watching the whole of it. This is going to take a while. I'm going to have to put some on and then dry a bit. And I'll put some more on it. It's going to be several coats of this paint. I just wanted you to see what the process is. I'm going to go through here and I'm not worried about this upper edge. I'm starting at the base of this whatever you want to call this thing, whether it's a vase or I guess that's what it is. And I'm just pulling the paint up, kind of random height. Not really too concerned with it. The red is going to be started at the top and work its way down. And so the intent is that they will kind of overlap each other, and that this will kind of give the idea of flame where they join together. Just a touch more right in there. It's where one of those cracks that we filled with the glue. I want to make sure they get filled with paint as well. I want this bottom to be coated real well. All right, there's the black. And where did I put it? There it is. Have a surplus hair dryer. You use a hair dryer when you're painting or finishing, either one. When you start them, you want to start it away from what's going on here? I may have to punt. Ah, there we go. Anyway, you start with it not blowing on your piece. Turn it down to low. I don't need all that heat. I'm going to put this on, what, 250, 500? That sounds good. This is acrylic paint, kind of a tempera paint. In fact, it says washable tempera paint. Bought it at one of the local hobby shops. Just for fun, let's check it out. I can still see it's not quite dry. It's getting there. Won't take long. Got a surprise while you all were gone a while ago. I was working away and I don't remember what I was doing, but I looked up and here's my son coming in the door. He's a first semester college student. Came home. He's got a long weekend. Some of his classes got canceled. In fact, some of his classes today were canceled, and so he could have come home last night, but he didn't. That's okay. He's here now. We'll enjoy him while he's here. Woo! Almost knocked the black off. I'm really not worried about not overlapping. It's okay to overlap, especially this first coat or two. Right now it's relatively thin. Again, I want to not get a straight edge on this lower end. I want it just to be kind of ragged and feathered out. This top I want completely covered. So I'm just gonna go back and touch it up. All right. There's my red. Again, let's help it to dry just a little bit. We're going to put a number of coats on, and then at some point we will come back and we will sand it back a bit, and hopefully this transition area will be much more feathered, look much more like flame, like it's even burning, coming out of the charcoal into that glowing red heat of charcoal. That's the idea anyway. This challenge was to do something in the theme of fire or flame. Let's turn that on. And so this is, when I saw this, I thought, how neat. So this is what I'm doing. There are some other people who have put some hints out there of what they're doing. This is for a YouTube Cross Channel Challenge, YTCCC 2021. So several of us are in this group doing this challenge. This is my submission. I hope if you're in the challenge, I hope you've got yours going. I look forward to watching your video. If you're not in the challenge, if you're just watching to see what I do, this is just an idea. You may have thought, oh, why didn't he do? Well, I'll tell you what, next time I have a fire challenge, I may put it out there for people to send me ideas. I really didn't know where I was going. I thought possibly do a Japanese Shisugiban, piece. I've done one. I really enjoyed it. It was a lot of fun. I want to do some more. And there's so many variations of that Japanese method that I want to give it a whirl. All right, that's not quite dry. It's getting there, but not quite. But that lower section where it was thin is dry, and so we're going to stop, put some more black paint on. Again, dragging up from the bottom. Not worry about that top edge, just letting it feather, letting it do its thing, whatever that might be. Just kind of spreading this paint out, what I got on there right now. Just spreading it out, not trying to make it even. I'm going to tell you what, I'm going to get rid of these bottles. There we go. All right, I got the black on. Red seems to be a little thinner. I may have to, when I get some more, I'll pay a little closer attention and shake the bottle just a little bit more. Make sure I'm getting all that tinting. Sure to dry pink. I'm hoping that's just because it's first coat. See, my black wasn't quite, well, my black was not dry, so I'm spreading a little bit of it. I'll put some more right in through here. This is one of those cracks. There's glue in it, but there we go. That black that got spread is not going to be so bad. It's going to be pretty good, in fact. All right, let's move that. Let's give it a good dry. In fact, I tell you what I'm going to do. I'm going to go ahead and turn the camera off. Let you take a break. But I'll come back. I'll get. This is 2 coats. I'll put. Let's say I'm going to put 3 more coats on, and then I'll bring you back. All right. Told you I'd come back after we had about 3 more coats on there. We've got a total of 5 coats. They've had a good bit of time to dry. Been drying for about an hour or so. Well, of course I knocked this. Okay. What we're going to do now, I'm going to take some 320 sandpaper and I'm going to lightly sand all of this. The idea here is that we knock back some of the layers of paint and kind of cause them to show in some different places and different ways, even show some different layers in the paint. This part in between should be a little more in the way of blended. Kind of like some of the things I'm seeing here. Especially like right here where there's some black that's got pulled up with the red when I didn't let the black dry enough. Trying to be kind of gentle with it. I'm not pushing real hard. Do this quick little blast of air. Kind of allow me to see what I've got. And there's my paper. Pull some of that paint residue off. What made it nice and smooth too. Yeah, see the red comes down a little further into black. The black goes a little further up in the red. I think I like that. I think what we're going to do now, I'm actually going to take that 320 and we'll sand down here to the very bottom just a little bit more. Smooth that up just a little bit. I don't have to worry about it too awful much because it's going to get a number of coats of lacquer on here now. I didn't share with you earlier who it was I got this idea from. Kind of glad I didn't share with you because I would have told you the wrong name. Had the wrong name in my mind. A couple of people I watch. Stuart Farini is one person that I watch for coloring. He does a lot of great coloring, and he is kind of pushed my imagination to think further out into coloring with my work. But this idea came from Martin Sabin-Smith. Martin Sabin-Smith is the originator of Hampshire Sheen. He did a demo doing this technique, and it really caught my imagination. I think we're ready. Let me get a can of lacquer. In fact, I've got some right here. We'll spray a coat on, and I think what you're going to see is this will come alive. What I'll do is I'll spray on 4 or 5 coats. You spray it on, let it sit about 20 minutes. It should be pretty close to touch dry at that point. Be ready for another coat. I'll put probably, it's pretty late in the evening now. I'll probably get 3 or 4 coats on tonight. And I'll come back tomorrow. I'll let it sit overnight. Come back in the morning and give it a light sanding. Probably won't even use 320. I'll probably go to Scotch-Brite pad. I don't know, the gray or the maroon. Probably the gray. The gray's a little. The maroon is probably the roughest. The gray is a little lighter. The white is lighter yet. I've got some green as well, which is probably lighter than the maroon. But anyway, I'll probably go with the gray today. Wow, those colors just pop. Just pop. They come alive, especially that red. Now that will soak in some. In fact, I'm going to run this for the next 20 minutes at the slowest speed. Allow that to set up. It's right now, if I turn my watch the right way, it's 7 minutes after 10. So I'll come back here in about 20 minutes. I'll bring you back with me, and we'll put another coat of lacquer on there. It's been another 20 minutes, and we are ready for, oh yeah, touch dry. Ready for coat number 3. I'm going to call it a night after this coat goes on. Probably not going to let this run for very long. I've been letting it just run continuously. Keep the lacquer from sagging. I'm probably going to wait 10 minutes, maybe 15. Then I'm going to turn it off, shut everything down. I'm going to bed, and we'll be back in the morning, see if we can't finish this up. There we go, another light coat. Everything looks pretty good. Even though it's running at 250 RPMs, let's see if I can slow it down just a bit. Oh yeah, it's going on down. Here we are at 100 RPMs. And it looks like it's doing exactly what it's supposed to be doing. Should be getting what some people call orange peel. What'll happen is once it sets up overnight, I can come back, scuff it up. It'll smooth that over. The next layers will get better. They'll still have some orange peel. That's okay. I'll buff those back, put on another layer or set of layers, and it'll be getting smooth by that. But it's looking good right now. In fact, I'm going to turn it off. Oh yeah, we're getting there. Part of what I'm seeing right now is where the grain has really absorbed the finish. The paint does a good job of stopping that, but grain's going to be grain. And so everything is looking good. We're going to let this set up. We're going to come back in the morning. Even though it's only 3 coats, I'll go ahead and sand it back. And then we'll start again with another 4 coats, sand it back. Probably 4 more coats after that. And then it should be about done. We may go through the abrasive grits, and just to let it do its thing, get it as good as it can possibly be. So we'll see you again in the morning. All right. I kind of fibbed to you. I told you I'd bring you back for the last couple of coats of lacquer and finishing it up. I did not bring you back. What I've done, I have sprayed several coats, sanded back, sprayed several coats, sanded back. We're now at about 16, 17 coats of lacquer on here. And I'm right now at the point, I'm going to call it done. There are some little pockets, not nearly as many as there were on here. I could probably continue to sand and spray for a few more coats and get those gone. But this is the theme of this challenge is fire, and so I'm going to leave it right where it is. I've worked on it. Had a little trouble. Had to back up. In fact, I thought I was done. Deleted about 20 minutes worth of footage because it just really didn't matter. I was chasing a bad rabbit. But for fire, this is where I am. I'm going to part this off, and we'll call this good at this point. I'm liking what I'm seeing. It's got a good shine to it. The lacquer is nice and clear. No real scratches. It does have some pockets, and I'm pretty sure those pockets are either caused like these are here or because of the knot that's right there. But then there are some others, and I'm not so sure those are not caused by this acrylic paint. I really don't care. So let's part this off. Let's see, is that the... I want to use my shop-made parting tool. This is an old kitchen knife, ground off the edge. It's thinner on this side than it is this side, so the thick side goes down. I'm just thinking I probably should have ground that the other direction. It needs to be sharpened anyway. Let me sharpen that so that my thick side is up. All right, let's see what we can do here. There we go. Basically making two cuts, one along the waste wood here and another along the bottom of this vase, and it's kind of angled up just a touch. The two cuts is so I have a little bit of relief so that my parting tool does not get bound up and catch on itself. The cut parallel to the bottom, or at the bottom, on the bottom of my vase, is angled up to give me a slightly concave surface. That way the piece will sit steady even if the surface it is on is not exactly flat. I'm down to about 1/4 of an inch, and I'm just going very, very slow back and forth. Pulling back periodically just to check to see how large or how small that remaining stem is. All right. Left hand running the gouge, right hand, my fingers are inside so that when it does come off, it will I will catch it and it won't go flying. It would be a real shame to put in all this work and then here at the last moment mess it all up because I let it fall. There we go. It's right now ready to come off. There we go. So there you have it. This is my entry into the YouTube Cross Channel Challenge 2021 for the month of June. The theme of fire. Hope you've enjoyed it. If you have, if you'll hit the thumbs up for a like, that would be greatly appreciated. If you've not subscribed already, I'd appreciate you subscribing to my channel. This is still a new channel. We're still getting going. But we would greatly appreciate it if you would subscribe. You can hit the bell notification, and when I put a new video up, you'll be notified. That'll help my channel as well. If you didn't enjoy it, go ahead and hit the thumbs down. That's fine. You're not going to hurt my feelings. If you'd put just a short comment in there why you didn't like it. Too long, too short, too detailed, not enough detail. Just let me know what's going on. I'd like to make my channel better so that you can enjoy it all the more. So until the next time, spin 'em round.